The night was dark and unyielding as I embarked on my journey through the twisted backroads that led to my hometown. I had taken this route countless times before, but tonight felt different. The moon was obscured by thick clouds, and the dense woods that flanked the road seemed to swallow every hint of light. Only my headlights pierced through the darkness, casting eerie shapes on the gnarled trees. As I navigated the winding path, a sense of unease began to creep into my mind. It felt like an invisible presence was watching me from the shadows, an unsettling feeling that refused to be shaken off. I tried to dismiss it as my imagination running wild, but the pit in my stomach kept growing. The road seemed to stretch on forever, and with each passing mile, the trees grew thicker, their branches intertwining overhead like skeletal fingers reaching for the sky. There were no other cars in sight, and the silence was deafening, broken only by the soft hum of the engine and the occasional rustle of leaves in the wind. I pushed on, desperate to reach the familiar sights of home, but the road seemed to twist and turn without end. Time lost its meaning, and I felt as though I had entered another realm, trapped in a nightmarish loop. The darkness outside became suffocating, and I found myself nervously glancing into the rearview mirror, half expecting to see something lurking in the back seat. It was then that I noticed a peculiar glow in the distance, faint but unmistakable. A soft, eerie light that seemed to flicker like a dying flame. My heart pounded in my chest, torn between the curiosity to investigate and the primal instinct to flee from the unknown. Yet my fear was overpowered by a strange compulsion, drawing me towards the source of that haunting light. As I drove closer, the glow revealed itself to be emanating from an old, abandoned church nestled deep within the woods. The sight was both mesmerizing and terrifying. The church's stone walls were weathered by time, and the windows were shattered, giving it a hauntingly desolate appearance. The light seemed to originate from within, seeping through the cracks like a ghostly presence. Despite the fear clawing at me, I couldn't resist the urge to explore. My curiosity had taken control, steering me towards the eerie beacon in the night. I parked my car at the edge of the clearing and stepped out, my footsteps muffled by the soft undergrowth. The moment I set foot on the church's grounds, an unnatural coldness enveloped me, causing a shiver to course through my body. It felt as though the air itself was warning me to turn back, but I pressed on, unable to resist the allure of the enigmatic light. Inside the dilapidated church, the glow seemed to dance and flicker with a life of its own. The air was heavy with a pungent scent, a mix of dampness and decay that clung to my senses. I could hear the faint echo of whispers, indistinct but hauntingly present, as if the very walls were trying to communicate some forgotten truth. A sudden gust of wind rattled the broken windows, and I turned my attention to the altar at the far end of the church. There, beneath the dim, wavering light, lay an ancient book, its pages yellowed with age. I approached cautiously, drawn by an unseen force. As my eyes scanned the incomprehensible text, the whispers around me grew louder, more insistent. It was as if the spirits of the past were crying out, warning me of the malevolent power contained within those pages. But before I could tear myself away, a strange compulsion overtook me, urging me to read aloud from the forbidden tome. With trembling hands, I recited the incantations inscribed in the ancient language. The words felt unnatural on my tongue, and a sense of impending doom washed over me. The light intensified, casting sinister shadows that danced across the walls, and the whispers coalesced into a deafening cacophony. Suddenly, the ground trembled beneath my feet, and the church seemed to come alive. The walls groaned as if in agony, and the ceiling above me cracked, threatening to collapse. Panic surged through my veins, and I desperately tried to undo the words I had unleashed, but it was too late. The veil between our world and the unknown had been torn, and from the shadows emerged grotesque, otherworldly entities. They clawed their way towards me, their eyes gleaming with an insatiable hunger. Fear paralyzed me as their skeletal fingers closed in, and I realized that I had foolishly unleashed a nightmare upon myself. In a desperate attempt to escape, I ran back to my car, but the darkness seemed to twist and elongate the road before me. It was as though the forest itself was mocking my futile escape, toying with my desperation. As I drove on, I felt the malevolent presence closing in on me, and I knew that there was no escape from the horrors I had unleashed. The night had claimed me, and now, forever lost in the twisted backroads, I am left to roam in the perpetual darkness, my mind haunted by the echoes of the forbidden incantations.